All right, Shalom. First off, I'm going to start out by giving all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Rachakodash, Yahweh being the Heavenly Father's true name, Yahweh Shai being the name of his only begotten Son. Double honors unto the elders and the apostles of Great Millstone who rule well and teachable. And peace, blessings, and salutations to all you walking throughout the four corners of the earth, continuing to push and do the works in truth and in sincerity. All right, this is the brother Mashal, one of the men coming up under the branch out here in the morning camp. He'll do a quick lesson through the Spirit. And this lesson is pretty much going into being in a contrite spirit. Okay, whenever we mess up, whenever we fall, right? But pretty much going into how I'm gonna read an account, but pretty much just pointing out through the scriptures and showing that the Lord accepts a contrite and a broken spirit, right? Because but the Lord's will, as we go on and read through the scriptures, it'll make more sense and it's edifying. But just using accounts and whatnot, or an account, and just going into that aspect, really going into mercy ultimately, all right, because that's what we all are ultimately hoping for, right? Because of course, being in this flesh, we're not perfect. Like I said before in a previous lesson, we're bound to fall, we're bound to mess up, but the point is we get back up and continue to fight, in hopes of the Lord's mercies once again. But so I'm gonna start off first. I'm gonna grab Romans 15. This is Romans chapter 15 and verse 4. For whatsoever things were written aforetime were written for our learning, that we through patience and comfort of the scriptures might have hope. Okay, so everything that's written, these accounts, right, that we read about, these historical accounts that we read about in the scriptures, what happened to our forefathers, their faults, their mess ups, right, and everything that we read about, right, the apostles in the New Testament, Paul, Peter, Yahweh Shai himself, right. These are all written for our learning, okay, and the whole script, the whole Bible ultimately. But these different things are written for our learning, okay, that we through patience and comfort of the scriptures might have hope, right, and it's for our learning to apply, right, because like the scriptures say, let's grab that real quick. This is James chapter 1 and verse 22. Be ye doers of the word and not hearers only, deceiving your own selves. Okay, so when we hear the apostles teaching these things and telling us, to do this and to do that, all right, these different things, we got to actually do them and apply them, and when we read ourselves and the things we read, right, we take them in our minds and we are to apply them, so not just hearing these things once again, right? But so without further ado, let's get into it. I read that Romans 15, just to show that these different things are for our learning, and that we can learn from and take from. But I'm gonna grab that account in 1 Samuel, right? 15 and 16. Damn. Matter of fact, I'm gonna just read the whole account. I'm gonna just start at the top. This is 1 Samuel 15 and 1. Samuel also said unto Saul, the Lord sent me to anoint thee to be king over his people, over Israel. Now therefore hearken thou unto the voice of the words of the Lord Yahweh. Ba'ashem Yahushua, thus saith the Lord Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua of hosts, I will remember that which Amalek did to Israel, how we laid wait for him in the way when he came up from Egypt. Now go and smite Amalek and utterly destroy all that they have, and spare them not, but slay both man and woman, infant and suckling, ox and sheep, camel and ass. And Saul gathered the people together and numbered them in Telaim, 200,000 footmen and 10,000 men of Judah. And Saul came to a city of Amalek and laid wait in the valley. And Saul said unto the Kenites, Go, depart, get you down from among the Amalekites, lest I destroy you with them. For ye showed kindness to all the children of Israel when they came up out of Egypt. So the Kenites departed from among the Amalekites. And Saul smote the Amalekites from Havilah until thou comest to Shur, that is over against Egypt. And he took Agag, the king of the Amalekites, alive and utterly destroyed all the people with the edge of the sword. Right. So we reading what happened. He's destroying the Amalekites like it was commanded. Right. Um, Let's read verse 3 again. Now go and smite Amalek and utterly destroy all that they have, and spare them not, but slay both man and woman, infant and suckling, ox and sheep, camel and ass. Right? So he simply told him to utterly slay them all. Right? So don't leave none of them alive. Right? Verse 9, but Saul and the people spared Agag and the best of the sheep and of the oxen and of the fatlings and the lambs and all that was good, and would not utterly destroy them, but everything that was alive, that was vile and refuse that they destroyed utterly. Then came the word of the Lord unto Samuel, saying, It repenteth me that I have set up Saul to be king, for he is turned back from following me, and hath not performed my commandments. And it grieved Samuel, and he cried unto the Lord all night. All right, so Saul went straight away from the commandment that he was given. Right, he was simply told to destroy all the Amalekites, but he ended up not doing that and did something else. Okay, and this is the message. This is the Lord's return and how he's reacting. Right. And Samuel came to Saul, and Saul said unto him, Blessed be thou of the Lord, I have performed the commandment of the Lord. And Samuel said, What meaneth then this bleating of the sheep in mine ears, and the howling of the oxen which I hear? And Saul said, They have brought them from the Amalekites, for the people spared the best of the sheep and of the oxen to sacrifice unto the Lord thy God, and the rest we have utterly destroyed. Then Samuel said unto Saul, Stay, and I will tell thee what the Lord had said to me this night. And he said unto him, Say on. And Samuel said, When thou wast little in thine own sight, was thou not made the head of the tribes of Israel, and the Lord anointed thee king over Israel? And the Lord sent thee on a journey, and said, Go and utterly destroy the sinners of the Amalekites, and fight against them until they be consumed. Wherefore then didst thou not obey the voice of the Lord, but didst fly upon the spoil, and didst evil in the sight of the Lord? And Saul said unto Samuel, Yea, I have obeyed the voice of the Lord, and have gone the way which the Lord sent me, and have brought Agag the king of Amalek, and have utterly destroyed the Amalekites. All right. So this is another thing too. All right. The Lord, whatever the Lord commands, the Lord is strict in his commandments. Right. So he's thinking that he did what was right, because he went and he did war against the Amalekites, and he destroyed them, but he spared Agag. Right. Verse 21, but the people took of the spoiled sheep and oxen the chief of the things which should have been utterly destroyed, to sacrifice unto the Lord thy power in Gilgal. And Samuel said, Had the Lord as great delight in burnt offerings and sacrifices as in obeying the voice of the Lord? Behold, to obey is better than sacrifice, and to hearken than the fat of rams. Okay, so this is the point I wanted to get to ultimately. All right, because as we're reading, okay, Saul went off from the commandment of the Lord, and he spared Agag, and he brought the sheep, right, which he wasn't supposed to do. Okay, so Samuel's telling him here, look, it's just better to he could have just simply obeyed. All right, and that's the main point that I'm getting at, because applying it within our own lives and the different things, right? Of course, coming out from sin, right? All the Lord simply wants us to do, or from the beginning, all the Lord wanted us to do was to simply obey, right? But as a nation, okay, we went out from that, and now individually, okay, returning, right, through the grace and mercy of Yahweh Shema Shah, just keeping this in mind, look, it's just better to simply obey, all right, whether it be instructions given from the elders on down, or the apostles on down, or even older brothers within your camp. okay? It's simply just better to listen, okay, and apply what's being said, you know, and to not go outside of that, right? Right. So from there, let's grab Isaiah, right? Because the point I'm getting at really is the Lord just simply wants you to obey and to follow his commandments, okay? And to do what pleases him, you know? Isaiah 66:2. We'll start at 1. Thus saith the Lord, the heaven is my throne, and the earth is my footstool. Where is the house that ye build unto me, and where is the place of my rest? For all those things hath mine hand made, for all those things have been, saith the Lord. Okay, so this is once again the Lord cussing out the nation of Israel, okay, for going off and doing these wicked acts, right? These wicked works, but then coming and bringing a sacrifice, you know? For all those things hath mine hand made, and all those things have been, said the Lord. But to this man will I look, even to him that is poor and of a contrite spirit, and trembleth at my word. Okay, so what? You know, that's what pleases the Lord. All right, coming back unto him in a contrite spirit. Okay, and ultimately that's the spirit and the mentality and the attitude. Okay, that the mentality, right, and the spirit that the hopeful elect, the men of the Lord, are coming in. All right, just simply hoping to be forgiven. All right, and you know, just forgiven for all our sins. Okay, sins you committed in your past life, right? You know, things you might do that you don't know that you're offending, and you know, being in this body, right? Things you know you messed up, you did being in this life. You know, when you didn't understand this truth, you know, that may still bother you or mess with your mind, right? You know, and I want to get that word contrite real quick because I went into it. That word contrite, you know, and it means it comes from the Hebrew word nacha, which means stricken, smitten. All right. So what? You're stricken in your mind, okay? For what you know, just being in this flesh and messing up. All right. You know, you like it. You know, to the point to where you know you beg the Lord, you know, not to take his spirit from you. You know. Um. So from there, let's go to Psalms, right? Because this is what King David, um, this is what King David was begging the Lord for, right? After he went off, you know. This is Psalms 51:16. Salakia, not 16. Yeah, 16 was the point. Psalms 51:16. For thou desirest not sacrifice, else would I give it. Thou delightest not in burnt offering. The sacrifices of the Most High are a broken spirit, a broken and a contrite heart, O Most High, thou wilt not despise. All right. So coming back to the Lord, okay, and desiring, you know, having that desire, okay, to do 10 times better for the Lord. All right. You know, you might be falling short, right? You know, you might have had a bad week, you know, didn't really give much time to the spirit, right? You know, and you in your mind, you know, you contrite about that, you know, like damn, you know, like it hurts you, you know, like it's like, man, you know, gives you that desire to want to come back and serve the Lord, right? Um from here, let's go to Baruch. Baruch. Matter of fact, before I grab that, let me grab Ecclesiastes or Sirach, Salakia, Ecclesiasticus, chapter 7. verse 8. And it reads, bind not one sin upon another, bind not one sin upon another, for in one thou shalt not be unpunished. Say not, the Most High will look upon the multitude of my oblations, and when I offer to the Most High, he will accept it. All right. So, you can't, like it says, bind not one sin upon another, right? Just keep, effing off, going off, right? Doing whatever. But then you come back and you think, throwing up 50 lessons is good, or throwing up 10 lessons is going to please the Lord, which, that's not always the case. All right. Because, the point is coming back in your mind. Okay. Coming back in a contrite spirit. Right. Because that's what ultimately pleases the Lord, like we just read about. Right. So from there, let's go to Baruch. This is Baruch chapter 4 and verse 28. Baruch 4:28, for as it was your mind to go astray from the Most High, so being returned, seek him 10 times more. Okay. So being returned to the Lord, having this mercy, we are to seek the Lord 10 times more. Okay. And have that desire, to want to please him and to not go off. Right. But I think that was pretty much the point of this lesson, just, driving the point home of, what pleases the Lord is ultimately a contrite spirit. All right. And like it says, coming in the spirit, okay, wanting to seek him 10 times more, okay, and to be better, all right, than what you were before. All right. But that was pretty much the point. Lord's will, I hope it was edifying and it made sense. Giving all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahushai, Bahashem, Rachakodash, for putting the spirit upon me to do this lesson. Double honors unto the elders and the apostles of Great Millstone, who rule well and teach well. And peace, blessings, and salutations to all you Wakim throughout the four corners of the earth, continuing to push and do the works in truth and in sincerity. With that, I'm going to say shalom.